Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time. I think since neither of us have had our show, both Mixed Combat Radio and The People of Boxing, joined by the lovely Melody Joy, and obviously the one and only Gary in Dallas. We're recording this live, even though it's not live for you guys, watching it probably tomorrow or tonight. Recording it live after the Benavidez Plant fight, the Ramirez Commey fight, and the Sinessa Estrada fight. Shout out to Pound for Pound legend Sinessa Estrada. But a lot to get into on today's show. I mean, I don't know where you guys want to start with, Melody or Gary, but we have a lot. David Benavidez bullied Caleb Plant around for 12 rounds, bloodied him up. Ramirez Commey had a war where Ramirez finally stopped Commey. And Estrada had a pretty good showing, pretty dominant showing. I mean, I don't know who wants to go first. Gary, it's been a while out in Texas. How are you doing, Gary?
It is good to be back with y'all. See these beautiful faces. I think we can do this every week again. What do you say, Matt?
Ooh,
yeah,
exciting.
I can do that. I mean, I know that since I'm no longer working in the promotion side of boxing, you know, for now, a return to the media side does make a lot of sense. So doing weekly again is something that I've been thinking about for a while. That's for sure.
I got nothing but time. So you want to start with Plant and work backwards?
Yeah, I guess so, because that's like the marquee event, the pay-per-view, I guess, even though it shouldn't have been.
The marquee of the pay-per-view?
It's the marquee of the weekend, I would say.
Mine would be the ringman, Richard Torres.
The ringman.
Sinisa Estrada was the best fighter in action today. Can we agree on that? She's so good.
Yeah.
She just took much more than what I would have.
Did you get to watch a lot of? I know there's like 10 things going on at once, but did you get to watch a lot of that? Like, she was so good. Yeah,
definitely. I think we had all of the fights up except for most of the Golden Boy show on DAZN. We only watched the main event for that one. But we watched everything else as much as we could.
There was nothing really else on the Golden Boy card. It was just
It was a trash card.
I don't even think I looked at the undercard for that.
I did. It wasn't good. It was a bad card. I mean, even the Zepeda fight was bad. But digressing. I mean, look, I'm not gonna get into too much of the particulars of like the pay-per-view aspect of it because I don't think it's gonna do well. I understand why they did it. They meaning PBC and Showtime, but I mean, we know the economics of the sport. We know how it works. I think Benavidez really showed that he is the only guy to give Canelo any threat in any division right now, except for 175. I don't think Canelo's going to go back to 175, to be quite honest. But, I mean, I don't know. Melly, what do you think? I mean, Benavidez dog walked Caleb Plant there towards the end of that fight. I mean,
such a good fight.
Benavidez Canelo is the only fight I care about for either guy.
And the fact that Benavidez still looks so good afterwards, I mean, the damage he did on Plant was phenomenal. So I guess the only fight left would be Canelo. Hopefully.
Gary?
Yeah, I mean, both guys did what they wanted to do. Like, they kind of did the blueprint of what they would have done to win that fight, and Benavidez just was better, right? You know, I said in order for Plant to have any chance to win this fight, he's got to be up 5-1 going into the second half of the fight. And I had him up 5-1. And so then just try to steal a round or two, right? And just eke out a decision, right? And he couldn't do it, right? And he was just broken down. And I was disappointed to see this in Caleb Plant. Because I thought he kind of showed up to the Canelo fight to get his $10 million and not get seriously hurt and go home, right? I was like, okay, this is his fight. He can win this fight, but he can't just do it off the back foot. He's got to stay in the pocket. He's got to pick his spots to trade because you can't run from Benavidez for 12 rounds. He's eventually going to break you down and slow you down. And that's exactly what happened, right? Like, you have to fight the way Laura fight Hurd to an extent, right? Like, you got to stand in with him in spots. You just can't run because you're going to slow down. And once you slow down, you're dead meat, right? So you got to try to pick your spots a little bit. I mean, you can't stand in with them for all 12 rounds either, but you got to pick your spots to trade, tie them up, right? And then get back. You can't just run. It's not an amateur fight. It's not 3 rounds. You're not on your way up fighting guys you outclass. You're fighting the best 168 pounder in the world, I think. You can't run from him for all 12 rounds. You got to, and Caleb Plant did the same thing he did with Canelo. He tried to run for 12 rounds. It's not going to work. And I was disappointed because I thought Redman would have a better game plan than that. And that was basically the game plan.
I don't know how you had it 5-1 Caleb Plant after
How did you have
rounds.
it through 6?
You had 2-6?
I had 5-1, and then I gave Benavidez the last 6 rounds, so I had 7-5.
I don't know how you saw Caleb Plant winning 5 rounds.
A lot of people did, though. I mean, we didn't. We definitely didn't. But I mean, a lot of people we saw on Twitter, a lot of in the beginning had Caleb doing better. Even all the commentators obviously were saying that he was doing so much better. So then I was yelling at them. But
we were talking about this when we were watching the fight. Look, Caleb Plant, there was definitely rounds in the beginning where he was probably throwing and technically landing more than Benavidez. That is absolutely true. However, every time Benavidez was landing, it was changing the tone of the round. Every time. Every time he would land, every time it got close, Plant tied up. Like the chemistry of the two was one where Plant was always in survival mode, in my mind. Even though there may have been rounds where Benavidez was not as efficient or successful in landing those shots, for 12 rounds, it was Benavidez hunting down a guy that was in survival mode. And, I mean, at most, I probably gave Plant 4 rounds, 5 rounds. So, I mean, in technicality, you're right that 5 rounds to Plant isn't absurd. I just don't see how in the first 6 rounds you give overwhelmingly to Plant, because I saw, even within the 6 rounds, overwhelmingly, Benavidez was landing the harder, better shots and was just having trouble sort of cutting off the ring. I would say by round 4 or 5, he was already finding success cutting off the ring and pressing it to Plant. And Plant was consistently just tying up, not throwing counters as much.
Or
as
just winning the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of that as well.
I put a ring around the first. The first round I thought was a toss-up, and the 5th. So I scored the first round for Caleb Plant, but it's a 50 round toss-up round. Second round I gave to Benavidez. So you could have it 2-0 Benavidez. I had it 1-1. And then I gave 3 and 4 to Caleb Plant. And then 5, I put another ring around. It's toss-up round. I also gave it to Plant. So I have 2 toss-up rounds. I gave them both to Plant. You could flip those and have it much wider. I don't think that's inappropriate.
No, yeah. And if you flip those, for example, I don't think it's a basketball card anymore. I will say that, like, for Caleb Plant, like, we've already seen him now with 2 high-level guys. And he's done the same thing like you said, Gary. He's done the same game plan that hasn't worked. He clearly doesn't have knockout power or respectable power at that level. I mean, it's kind of hard now for what Caleb Plant can do next. I mean, when he was on the come up, we always thought, well, if his defense is that good, it doesn't matter if he has power. But clearly his defense isn't that good, because halfway through these fights, these top-level guys are catching him. If Jamal Charlo moved up to 168 and fought Caleb Plant, I'd pick Jamal Charlo in a heartbeat. I would pick guys that, as the fight wears on, they find more success. Caleb Plant's the opposite at the top level. As the fight wears on, he just stays stagnant.
It decreases in output.
It's not that he does worse. He just stays stagnant, and guys adapt to him.
Yeah. Bella, do you agree? Do you think Jamal Charlo, a big Charlo, would beat him? Yeah. I don't know about that.
I mean, I hope it wouldn't be his first jump up. We might have a little but I mean, give Caleb some time to reflect, because this is a doobie. He's gonna need some time to work on the stuff.
I didn't see the purses on this fight, but this is the second time Caleb Plant got beat down. His run at that level might be over, so I hope he got paid. Because I don't know if he's going to have any more huge big paydays.
I hope he got paid good, at least these last 2 fights. I saw Dan post them.
Yeah, both got $500,000.
There's got to be some back end money on that, though, right?
Yeah, it depends on pay-per-view sales.
Ain't gonna be good. Ain't gonna be good.
And that's the way that these promoters and networks decrease the value and purses of these fighters. Because instead of getting guaranteed money, like what Jose Ramirez has been arguing with the Prograis fight and being called a duck for it, these other guys have been forced into pay-per-view, taking less money.
His own network calling him a duck.
I mean that's crazy. And then they're taking less money, like Caleb Plant and Benavidez, hoping for back-end money that isn't there because the market isn't there for it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if at 2018 level purses, both these guys are getting $1 million apiece, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right? The market
it ain't 2018 no more. Yeah, it ain't 2018 no more, but there was that bubble, right? And then DAZN entered, and DAZN, DAZN came in and gave these ridiculous purses, which kind of inflated everything, and then, that went away. Yeah, if these guys think they're going to get paid what they got paid in 2018, 2019, no. That was like the housing market in 2008. Them days is over. That's done with.
I don't know if you guys want to move on to the Jesus Ramos fight.
Woohoo! Ramos looked so good. Not the first Ramos. He looked. He put up a fight for El Bolito, but Jesus did superb.
Dude, Joey Spencer, man. From prospect of the year, like multiple years in a row by PBC, when everyone was making fun of it. I feel like we're all vindicated now. All of us that were making fun of Joey Spencer for years.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we
were right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. We were not right about Chris Colbert. We're gonna get to that later.
We were not correct.
All of us.
We can get to that. I'm the most guilty of that. I said you can go back. He would beat Shakur Stevenson. I said that on.
We said a lot of things.
Channel.
We said a lot. Yeah. We said a lot of things. I thought we would get redeemed tonight.
But hey, we did get redeemed with Joey Spencer. Well, Jesus Ramos.
Yes, he did us some dirty work on that boy.
The odd man out at 154, but I want him versus the winner of Charlo Zoo. Like that just is clear as day what should happen next. Gary, your thoughts?
I've been on the Ramos, and you can pull up previous tape. I've said Ramos is the future. I've been a huge Ramos fan. I've said this kid is like different, and he can maul you down and break you down, but he's got a lot of skills too. He's so much better, and that's why when they announced this fight, I feel like, oh, this is a great fight. I'm like, it's great because you got two undefeated prospects willing to fight each other, but this is going to be one-sided in the ring. So kudos to both guys for taking a big challenge like that, right? Hats off to Joey Spencer for taking the fight. But from a skill level,
yeah,
I don't want to call Joey Spencer the Great White Hype. That's Vito Melnicki. Like, he's just trash. Like, I don't think Spencer's trash. He was just never what they had, like, two-time prospect of the year. Like, he was never that. Like, he's not a bad fighter, but he's not anywhere near Jesus Ramos. Vito Melnicki is straight trash. I don't like. That's just because he's white. Like, that's it. That's all he's got going for him, his skin pigment, right? There's nothing good about him. Like, what is good about Vito Melnicki?
He's promoted by PBC. That's the best thing about him. He's promoted by PBC. That's the best
he did have a good amateur career, I think. But, like, I don't know if he did.
He found a connect, dude. He found a connect, bro.
He has money. He got some money.
If he has money, then I can see. Because easy. If you got money, you'll find a promoter hungry.
His dad is a matchmaker for Marshall Kaufman, and he makes a lot of fights in Jersey and Philly. Yeah. It's nepotism. Yeah.
It's nepotism.
Is there anything good? Joey Spencer's really good fundamentally. Like, you put a boxing tape on, Joey Spencer's a good guy to say. He just doesn't do anything next worldly. What is good about Vito Melnicki? Like, there's nothing good about him.
Dude, poor all the fighters that aren't on the cards tonight just getting shot at, man. Poor guys. Yeah, Vito sucks. Any other thoughts on the Ramos fight, guys?
No, I think Ramos is already the best 154-pounder in the world. I don't know when he's going to get a chance to prove that against Charlo or Zoo.
Is he 20-0 now?
Is that what he is?
Ramos? Jesus, I think he's 20-0 now.
Yes, he's 20-0.
20-0, nice.
What about Castano? Can we get that fight next?
Ooh,
right,
Castano versus Jesus Ramos. I'll take that.
Is that worth the risk? Like, if you're Ramos, do you risk a world title fight to fight Castano?
Yeah, I think he could.
It's a winnable fight too.
I think he'd beat anyone in the division already. Like, I think he's that good.
Castano's 5'5". I mean, he's a very small guy.
Yeah.
Bro's fat as fuck right now too.
He's a little chunky.
He has a problem off camp, man.
Yeah, he gets big. He gets big out camp. No, I think that's
Argentina feeds him, bro.
That Argentinian food is good though. Like it's good food.
Next on the card, I guess we got to talk about it. Chris Colbert.
Bro, but we didn't even talk about Abel Ramos.
That was the opener.
Dude,
that was
Abel
the opener.
Ramos.
That was the opener.
I know, but he fought fucking Crowley. His dad died 4 weeks ago. That's fucking intense. Imagine.
Yeah, because Crowley's dad died, right?
Yes, his dad committed suicide 4 weeks ago, bro.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I mean, maybe you might. I was gonna say you won't see me either, but then you might.
Okay.
Is that what Cody's? What happened?
Yeah, Cody Crowley's dad committed suicide.
I was watching something. Like I was watching the other cards, and I didn't get to see much of that fight. Like I just saw bits and pieces of it, and I saw him being emotional. I didn't know what that was. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I mean it was a really good fight. I mean, it was a good back and forth fight. If you didn't watch it like intently, wait for it to be on like Daily Motion or something.
Yeah,
and watch it again. That was a really good fight. It was either the best fight of the night or the second best fight of the night behind Ramirez Commey, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
But yeah, Chris Colbert looking like utter shit.
Yeah. What the fuck happened, guys?
He's not the next Pernell Whitaker. I think that's just determined now.
That is evident. Yeah.
What happened? I'm not quite sure.
I mean, this was supposed to be a.
I really am asking, like, guys, what the fuck happened to him? Like, I don't understand what happened.
I mean, let me ask you guys. I'm not asking you who you had winning. Do you think the scorecards were egregious? Like, do you think that's a robbery?
It was a robbery.
Yes.
In my mind, Chris Colbert lost the fight.
Yeah, we lost.
I had him losing by 1 point. I had a 5-5 with a knockdown being the difference.
Yeah.
I didn't think like
that would be nice, you know.
But even if you give him like enough rounds, enough points,
just because of betting.
Even if you do, I don't think you can come away with that fight looking like, hey, Chris Colbert looked like a good fighter.
No,
dude.
You can't.
No way.
This was supposed to be a tune-up after a really tough loss, and he got lucky. He honestly, in my opinion, got very lucky in a robbery. Dude. And this was complete home cooking from the promotion side.
Yeah, I don't even know. That's random. Why? Why did he get that?
Well, I mean, Chris Colbert's been a media darling for a long time. He had a documentary made about him before he even turned pro.
He was supposed to be New York City's like next great fighter. Like he was it, and like he was really good, and they hyped him. And like, I'm not saying he's trash, but like he's clearly not as good. And I'm guilty of it too, right? Like I had him. I thought he was the next great thing.
Do you remember the name of that documentary on Netflix?
I don't.
Because it was about all like a bunch of amateurs. I want to say, right? It was like Cam Awesome, and was it like Michaela Mayer too? Who was amateur?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
It's a really good documentary. We'll find it.
Right.
Yeah, but Chris Colbert, I mean, from before he turned a pro, had a great amateur career. Had a Netflix documentary spotlighting him, where he was clearly the biggest star of the documentary, except for Cam Awesome, and he's been undefeated, looked great. And then you have the comparison of a Shakur Stevenson, who is a very similar style fighter, similar amateur pedigree, except for Shakur Stevenson had a much better amateur pedigree. And one has excelled more than the other. I mean, it's bad. 3 years ago, both guys were the come up of the defensive new wave of fighters. It was Shakur and Chris Colbert. And you had other new wave of the fighters that were more aggressive, like Gervonta Davis, like Jesus Ramos. But Colbert and Shakur were the defensive wizards of this new generation. And Chris Colbert's not that guy. I don't know why. I still think the tools are there. I don't think it's a matter of not being skilled. I don't know what it is.
He gets hit too much. For a defensive fighter, he gets hit too much. Right? I've always said this about Tyson Fury, too. Tyson Fury is a great defensive fighter. Why does he get hit all the time, right? Like, he's just getting hit too much. And, like, he's not off the back foot entirely, but then he just gets stationary, right? Like, he's not good enough or strong enough or powerful enough to get that stationary. Like, there's just times where he'll just go on a high card and block and try to catch and shoot. Like, he's got to keep moving, right? Like, circling. He can stand in and and throw his combinations, but then he's got to tie up or get out. Like he's standing. You see he's doing well in rounds and he's doing what he wants, and then he gets tagged, right? Like he's too stationary at times, right? For what he is. Because, I mean, he was outboxing Venezuela in spots, and then Venezuela would tag him and, rally. It's like, just stop getting hit with those. Like, just keep moving, keep circling, stay away from those. But, like, he gets hit too much. I think he's too stationary at times because he should be moving, especially against a guy like Venezuela where he's clearly the quicker, faster athlete in the ring. Like, he should be on his bike a little bit more.
Because when he was getting his spots in, you could see how much faster he is. And Valenzuela's a fast little kid, for his little hype train that he had too, So I see it was a good, a good little matchup. It just poor Colbert, man.
I just think he had a bad game plan going in. I think he didn't respect his opponent. They came back to bite him. I mean, that happens.
It looked like the Hector Garcia fight all over again. Just Venezuela is not as good as Hector Garcia, right? But it seems like the same thing. Like if it was Hector Garcia again, he would have lost the same way he lost to Garcia in the first time. Like I was want to say, put them back in the ring again. Colbert will outbox Garcia. No, he won't. He'll get his ass kicked again. Like he will.
I just he might just not have it. I mean that happens, unfortunately. I mean we kind of talked about the Crowley fight. Any other thoughts? Because I know Gary didn't see most of it. Any other thoughts, guys?
Oh, by the way, the name of that documentary is called Counterpunch. I just looked it up.
Counterpunch.
Thank you, Gary. I think that's it for that card. We'll move on to the Top Rank ESPN show. Jose Ramirez versus Richard Commey. I do want to address again the whole narrative that even ESPN was pushing that Ramirez was ducking Prograis. I mean, look. I know it's going to sound contradictory for maybe some of our audience, Gary, because I've talked shit about Ramirez's. Star.
I got a little insider information on this, so go ahead, and then I'll tell you what I know.
Oh, look at this insider Gary over here. Okay, Mike Coppinger over here.
Sources.
Hashtag sources.
The Texas Mike Coppinger, yeah.
I've never thought Ramirez was that much of a star. He hasn't drawn significant drawing power at the ticket booth. Mm-hmm. Even at Fresno, even though he can sell 15,000 seats, he doesn't sell in terms of a lot of monetary value. I will say, though, that him requesting or him sort of having a red line in the sand of $1 million guaranteed for a Prograis title fight is completely in line with him as a fighter, as a drawing power, and where he stands in the Top Rank stable. The better thing about this, not only is Ramirez value in terms of purses and such determined by what he brings to his individual events, but by what he is reflective relative to the roster of Top Rank. Okay, if Top Rank's getting $80-90 million a year or $100 million a year from ESPN, these are all numbers that we've heard about. Maybe it's $60 million on the low end. But they're getting tens and tens of millions of dollars a year from ESPN for these shows. Ramirez is clearly a top 5 draw of that bunch.
In Fresno?
No. in terms of the roster. Come on. I mean,
sorry.
Top Rank doesn't have Crawford anymore.
Right.
Top Rank may or may not have Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury is not fighting Usyk. So we have no idea what Tyson Fury is doing. And they have to split the revenue with Queensberry and Kinahan and everyone else that's involved with Tyson Fury. So they don't get the major cut of that even. Okay. Who really does Top Rank have other than Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko that are consistent draws, consistent fighters too? Ramirez is maybe even top 3 in that bunch. So relative to his drawing power amongst the entire stable, Ramirez deserves a massive payday for a title fight against a guy like Prograis. And a guarantee of $1 million is bottom of what I would demand if I was Ramirez and his team.
What did Prograis get his last fight with Western Marvin Nation?
1.5, 1.7, something like that, right?
Yeah.
It was $1 million and a half ish, we'll say.
Oh yes, because we had the whole check thing the next day, right? So
if Prograde can get 1.5 million from Marv Nation,
you're right,
and
you're right,
and affiliated, then look, Top Rank can give Ramirez $1 million and Prograde $1 million too.
Yeah,
I mean that's the reality, and also they're probably gonna make a pay-per-view too. But that's probably why they're trying to make Ramirez's guaranteed purse below that. They're probably telling Ramirez, "Hey, take $500,000 and you get pay-per-view points."
Mm-hmm.
But if Ramirez has smart people in his corner at the time,
don't do that. You don't have.
You can accept pay-per-view, whatever. It's just added revenue, I guess. But you're not going to make back-end money to get to $1 million from the pay-per-view for you and Prograde. Get that in guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. So I think it's ridiculous that ESPN and Top Rank have tried to portray Ramirez the way they have. I think he's completely fair to demand $1 million for Prograde. And he looked fantastic against Richard Commey. I mean, this was a fantastic fight. One of the better fights of the year already. That first round was amazing. And Ramirez, I think, solidified he's still one of the top dogs in the division. I mean, he weathered all the storm, all the heavy shots that Commey threw. I mean, Commey landed some heavy right hands, some heavy left hooks, heavy uppercuts. And Ramirez just walked through it and then punished and finished Richard Commey. Gary, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Ramirez's performance was good. I thought Commey was game. Like, I thought Commey offered a good showing for himself. I don't think his best days are at 140, but I thought it was a respectable showing from Commey. Like, you know, I thought Commey was going to get killed, and he actually was pretty competitive in the fight. Ramirez is still at the top of that division, right? Like, I think Prograde is the best guy in that division, and we'll see what Taylor does. And then, like, Ramirez is right there with anyone else in that division. Omar Juarez is fighting Rances Bartolome on May 13th. So Omar Juarez is going to be in that conversation too.
No, he's not. Wait. Omar Juarez is fighting Rances Bartolome. We can guarantee that will be the worst fight of the year. Omar Juarez is a Texas prospect.
I know who Omar Juarez is. Who?
Rances, the Cuban, the former 35 pound champ, right?
Yeah,
35.
He almost fought like Broner a few times.
He fought Robert Easter in the worst fight ever.
Yeah, remember the Robert Easter fight? That was super shit. My God. He always has colored hair, usually.
Yes.
Yeah,
he has a brother, hair too.
Yes.
Ludwig, right? Ludwig?
No, Luden. It's like Luden.
There you go.
Derek.
Yeah. Because there was a guy that we were going to
No, there's a fighter that we know that's Derek Bartholomew.
Sassy.
Different spelling on Bartholomew, though.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
He's also terrible. Just saying.
So, right. No, I don't think Ramirez demanding $1 million guaranteed is out of line, out of pocket in any way, shape, or form. I think that's completely reasonable. And you can go to Texas Boxing Scene and you can look up my interview with Aaron Navarro, who is the co-trainer and cut man for Regis and for O'Shaquie Foster. And what he said was that they wouldn't even meet with them. They said Ramirez's team said it's not enough money. And Navarro said, we haven't even made an offer yet, so what's not enough money? And they said it's not enough and went on to something else. I spoke to Bobby Benton, the head trainer of Regis, back in December when Austin Trout fought in the Valley. And Bobby Benton told me that back in December, Ramirez ain't fighting us. I'm like, what do you mean he's not fighting you? He's like, he's not going to fight us. I was like, what's he going to say? He's going to take some other tune-up fight, and he's not going to fight us. Then they went to the table. He refused to go to the table and said it wasn't enough. And then fought Commey. So that's what I know, and I have all that documented. You can look at my interview with Bobby Benton, and you can look at my interview with Aaron Navarro. My interview with Bobby Benton's back in December, where he said they're not going to fight us. And then I spoke to Aaron Navarro just a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and Navarro said they would not even meet us. They simply said it wasn't enough. And Navarro said it was enough. We haven't made an offer.
I would say that's slight bullshit. Because
hey, don't kill the messenger.
I know that, but just from like my little experience in negotiating fights,
yes,
most of the time, especially at that level, coaches aren't involved. Number one, if at that level you have managers, you have lawyers, it's past the point of like your coach is negotiating and also your manager is past that point. Two, the promotion is usually the one that is facilitating the negotiation. So, for example, let's say me and you, Gary, are different fighter camps and Melody's the promoter, right? You're Prograis, I'm Ramirez. She's Top Rank. Me and you are not actually going to be in the preliminary negotiation. We're not talking to each other. Top Rank is offering me something, and Top Rank's offering you something. And their point is to not have us know really what that is. Because if I know what you're making and you know what I'm making, then we can negotiate, shop it, and go back against the promoter. So most negotiations happen where neither side is aware of what the other one's making. Honestly, especially at the local level. Like at the top level, I don't think you get that as much. But in terms of the preliminary negotiations, I guarantee it's a promotion giving one deal to one fighter and another deal to another fighter. And they have no idea what those deals are. So it is, in my mind, Ramirez was offered something by Top Rank. And he said no to Top Rank. And then when Prograis was asked, hey, what's happening? Top Rank said, he doesn't want me. And so Prograis, in a sense, is right. And his team is saying they didn't want to meet. But the reality is that that's not how the negotiation works. It's not like you guys all get in a room and Prograis offers Ramirez a deal. The promoter is the one that's offering two separate deals.
He's like, no, bro, I can't do it.
Can't do it. I'm leaving the table.
I'm walking away.
It's a phone call from Bob Arum or Todd DeBuff to both teams. Separate conversations, too.
I'm just telling you what I've been told, bro. That's all That's all I'm telling you. That's it. I'm just telling you what I got told from. And then again, this is just Team Prograis. I don't have any source with Team Ramirez. Although I do know his manager pretty well, Rick Mirajan. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I've talked to him. He's Virgil and Josh Franco's manager too.
Yes. Good old Rick.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Great.
No, you guys don't like him?
Who said that?
I don't know.
Don't put me on the record, Gary. Don't put me on the record here, okay? Stop that. You want me with your body.
Scratch that. We can.
Sound aggressive.
All right.
Cut that. Melody. Your thoughts on Ramirez Commey? Obviously,
Ramirez Commey. Oh.
And then obviously Ramirez Prograis too.
Oh. It was a good fight. Ramirez looked good. I've been waiting for Ramirez and Prograis to fight because I like Prograis. I think he beat Josh Taylor. Don't get upset. I know. It's all right. I love him.
Are you picking Prograis versus Ramirez?
I think I would. I like Prograis.
All the Mexican fans will come after you.
Why? Because of Ramirez? Ooh. Hey, from Fresno again.
All the people from Fresno are going to be very upset, okay?
Oh, no.
All 12 of them, okay? It's a very big community. Gary, your thoughts. Prograis, Ramirez. Who wins that one?
I think Prograis is the most underrated fighter, and I think he is a top 5 guy in the world, pound for pound. He just needs to have someone fight him. So I don't pick anyone to beat Prograis. And I like Ramirez. I think Ramirez is really good. I don't pick anyone to beat Prograis. Except for when I picked, what's his name to beat him? Terry Flanagan.
Are we not going to be honest and say that Prograis has looked like utter shit ever since the Josh Taylor fight?
I thought he looked great against Zepeda. I really did.
Yeah. Remember?
It's Zepeda, guys.
Zepeda fought Ramirez to an even fight. Ramirez won, and he probably eked it out, but that was a really close fight.
Zepeda was a worthy opponent.
And he beat Pedraza.
I don't like the boxing math that Gary is doing right now. It's
and he beat Kendo Castaneda.
Shout out to Kendo Castaneda, the legend.
Ooh, Kendo.
He's on the wall. You just can't see.
He's on the wall.
Good old Kendo.
Anyways, moving
right
on.
There, near
unless anyone have any other thoughts about Ramirez, you want to move on to Estrada?
Yeah.
Estrada, the queen.
Who is top 3 pound for pound in the world?
I'm going to update my ranking. I'm putting her at number 1.
You can't do that, man.
Why can't I put her at number 1?
Because Clarissa will smash you, bro.
Who looks more impressive?
Smash you.
Who looks more impressive in their last outing? Sinisa, Estrada, or the Guo?
The Guo.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be honest. I think Clarissa looks fantastic at 154.
Yeah.
I think now that she's really slimmed down to that division, I think she just looks unbelievable. And let's be honest here. There's different expectations for either fighter. We don't expect Clarissa Shields to knock out people. We don't expect Clarissa Shields to put on exciting fights. We expect her to put on masterclass boxing performances because that's what she can do and that's what she's able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she might talk a game about like knocking people out, I think we don't expect that. We have the track record. We know what she can produce. She's the Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker of women's boxing. Like, that's okay. It's okay to be excellent in that.
Mm-hmm.
I expect excellence in that, though. It's when she's sloppy defensively that I will have a lot of criticism and might drop her down a peg or two and pound for pound. But she hasn't looked sloppy. Estrada, though, we have a different expectation. We have an expectation of exciting fights, of not necessarily finishes, but more exciting moments within fights, more exchanges, more flurries. And I think Estrada has slowed down a bit as of late, where she's more methodical in her approach in the ring. And that's not to knock her, because obviously I use that as a praise for Shields. But it requires us to now shift our expectations of Estrada. You know, when a lot of us, when I think, really started getting on the Estrada train with the Marlon Esparza fight, which was a war, a fight of the year war that had tons of exchanges and tons of moments. Since then, Estrada really hasn't had that when she's fought top-level competition. This was a top-level competition. She fought another champion. And she wasn't really able to have that moment in the fight or that violence in the fight that I think we come to expect. That's okay as long as, again, we understand that we're now shifting our expectation of what is an Estrada.
Do you think that we should be shifting that expectation of her right now if she's going into the next one with Yocasta Vale? Someone who is a...
Here's what happened. Let's say she fights Yocasta Vale, who's a much more explosive fighter, I think, naturally, than Estrada right now.
Or pressure fighter, because she is more young. She's younger, that's it. That's the only thing.
If Estrada comes out there and puts on a boxing clinic and doesn't have moments where she hurts Yocasta, do we think that's a disappointing fight? Because if we think that, then our expectations haven't shifted yet, so to speak. We still expect her to put on a violent fight. If she's not the one delivering that violence on Yocasta, she's the one now negating the violence. She's the one now reflecting the violence, countering the violence.
I'm thinking she's going to lose, but I mean...
No, I don't think anyone thinks that Estrada's going to lose. I'm saying, like, what do we expect? How do we expect her to perform in a win? And do we expect her to go scalp Yocasta with, like she did Marlon Esparza, where that cut almost decapitated?
Yeah, it's 105.
But
it's 105. But Estrada, she should be bouncing off the goddamn canvas at 105. But
Estrada hasn't done that in a while.
Remember that one girl?
But that one girl was bad. That one girl wasn't at the level of
I know. I'm just saying that's what I want.
I just don't know if that might not be Estrada anymore. Because the way she fights now is her
competition's
the way
higher.
The way she switches stances, the way she jabs, she has developed into much more of a high IQ boxer. That's cool. But we as fandom maybe have to understand that's the new Estrada. She's no longer the blood and guts fighter. She's now the boxer, which is cool. But it doesn't make her better than Pusha Shields.
Not at this point.
No, because I perceive that's what's happening. That Estrada is now shifting to more of a boxing-centric fighter because she's getting older. She has to do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm comparing her more one-to-one with Pusha Shields because now they're both using high IQ boxing to win fights.
Yeah.
Not one is using violence and one is using something else. They're both using sort of the same similar style of fighting, which is boxing first. So because of that, I think Shields is better.
Maturity.
Yeah.
I had Shields won for years, right?
A decade.
Probably. I mean, yeah, sure.
Close to that.
Yeah, close to it. She was, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah. And I had Estrada at 2 or 3. Now I've had her at 2 for a while, right? And I had like, what does she have to do though? Like, I can't see like her doing unless you think it's just her spot. She can't lose her spot. The quote can't lose her spot number 1 until she loses or something like that. Which okay, fine. But like, what else do you want from Estrada? She dominates every fight she's in. She didn't lose a single round again today.
Yeah,
Gary, I'll flip the question back to you in a sense. Okay, let's say you're like me, where you don't have her at number 1. Who out there can she beat where she would then automatically be number 1? Is it Yocasta? I don't think so.
Esparza again? Yeah, I mean, there's no. Yeah,
That's the issue, and it's not that like Shields has a much better, roster of fighters to compete against, but because Shields is number one, she has to be supplanted somehow. If they're both fighting, relatively close levels of competition, and Shields is still winning, Estrada is still winning, then why would Estrada jump over Shields? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever have Terrence Crawford number one pound for pound?
Maybe.
Did he?
I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe. Because I might have been like a Roman Gonzalez truther back then, where I was like, nah, Roman Gonzalez is number one. Fuck Crawford,
fine
man.
with that, but you couldn't have number one when he got knocked out by Sorungvis, right? You couldn't have number one at that point.
No.
You try to block that out, Gary. I don't know why you would bring that up. It was a rough night here.
I'm a Chocolatito fan. I'm not disrespecting Chocolatito. I love Chocolatito.
I'm sorry.
I just don't.
That was rough of me right there. I'll say this. Let's say for argument's sake, yes, I did have Crawford as pound for pound number one at some point.
And you moved him off that spot despite him not losing, right?
Yes. The difference is that Crawford was fighting a one level of competition.
And Canelo was fighting light heavyweight.
And then decreased it drastically. That would be my argument for why it's a different conversation with Crawford. Because when he made that shift to a downgraded competition and a downgrade in not ability, but a downgrade of sort of progressing his style, progressing his toolbox, so to speak. Other guys were supplanting him. Other guys were fighting better competition. Other guys were improving more. So Crawford lost his relevancy. Shields, I don't think, has had that happen to her. I'm not saying that it can't happen to her, but it hasn't happened yet in my mind.
Yeah, and what you're saying is there's not really any name out there that would make her jump.
Basically,
the lip, right?
What you're saying is bullshit.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
There's no name out there, right? Like I kind of have this like with Inoue. Who is Inoue going to be at 22 or 18 that would put him ahead of Usyk, in my opinion? Like, there's not really the name there, right? Like he'd have to do something ridiculous, like go up 26, right? But he's not going to do that. So I can't really have Inoue getting to number one. He's kind of stuck at number two.
Wait, hold on.
You have to let him ride this one out. You're gonna have to let him ride this one out.
I can't. I know we've been running for a while, but I need to address that. If Inoue beat Stephen Fulton, you wouldn't put him above Usyk?
Stephen Fulton? I like Stephen Fulton. First, I picked Fulton to win that fight.
This is some hate because he beat Brandon Figueroa. That's what it is. Fulton beat Brandon.
Beat Figueroa. Yeah. Beat Figueroa. He would win that fight.
The fact that he didn't.
No, I know Stephen Fulton. I've interviewed Stephen Fulton a couple times. I like Stephen Fulton.
It's not logical.
If he beats Fulton, does he go ahead? What if Usyk beats Fury? Right, so then he's undisputed in 2 weight classes. He's got to be number one.
But that fight's not happening.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Why not? Because Fury's ducking him.
That's absolutely true.
Well,
Fury's ducking him, and I said that
on the record.
Fury, Deontay Wilder, send the contract. I'll sign it. Fury to Anthony Joshua, send the contract. I'll sign it. Fury to Derek Chisora for their 8th fight. Send the contract. I'll sign it. Usyk, I need like $500 million and make your best offer and maybe I'll fight. And I'll fight him on April 29th, but I need 70%. Oh, you'll agree to that? That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm just not going to fight him then. Right? Like this, and I used to be the guy that was attacked for defending Fury. This is ridiculous. Like, Usyk said, yeah, I have 3 of the 4 belts and just beat the biggest name in the heavyweight division twice. I'll give you 70%. And Fury still tries to find a way out of it. Fury's not fighting him.
I wouldn't bet my house on it, but if I had money, I would bet money on this. That the main issue between Fury and Usyk is that both come from competing cartels. I mean, honest, like...
Do they really come from competing?
I mean, and no one really wants to have that conversation about, like, what's happening in, like, Ukrainian, like...
What?
Ukrainian, like, black market shit. And, like...
Be careful, you get banned from YouTube if you badmouth Ukraine.
I was gonna say, bro, do they
Fucking-
have a black
Tread
market?
lightly.
No one talk about Ukrainian oligarchs. But
Tread
anyways,
lightly.
digressing here, guys.
Tread lightly, Matt. You know you're gonna strike.
Easy with the black market. They might not.
Tread lightly.
It's Ukrainian. Calm down.
Dude, anyways, I think that Fury is absolutely ducking Usyk. But yes, I don't even think that like Usyk deserves to be pound for pound number one. You have Usyk pound for pound number one right now?
I don't.
Yeah, I gave him one in a way too, and then it gets close after that.
I can't roll with that, man. That's
Who would you put?
He beat Anthony Joshua
Twice, and he was undisputed at cruiserweight. He's got 7 belts in 2 weight classes. Pretty good, Matt.
It's pretty good, Matt. Just saying.
Oh my God, Gary, this is
Who do you have at one? Inoue, or do you have someone else? Like, you don't have Crawford, so who do you have at number one?
still Canelo. The fuck is the matter with you?
He lost to Bivol.
And Canelo is a 5'4" ginger Mexican, and he went up to 175, guys.
No reason he should be there.
There's no reason he should be there.
No reason.
He's taking extra steroids to get to that weight class.
This is extra meat.
That's some
Extra.
Canelo. I give it to you, Matt. That's some Canelo love right there to have him number one after a loss. That's some. I get it. He's still undisputed. He's still undisputed. King 168, right? I get it.
Yes. Gary, I am offended.
Usyk went up and beat a guy 50 pounds bigger than him. I know it's only one weight class, right? But like he beat Joshua twice. I think
Joshua.
Yeah.
when he was a cruiserweight, circa 2018, and I said Usyk would go up and run the heavyweight division, you and Name Redacted, specifically Name Redacted, had a real good chuckle at that.
Yes,
Name redacted.
I will say this, Gary. I definitely at that time thought it was laughable. But I will still stay without a doubt that I don't think it's clear cut that Usyk has run through the division yet.
Well, he's got one guy he's only beaten one guy. Well, he's beaten 2, Chisora, but and don't forget what's his name.
And Chisora doesn't count. I mean, if we're gonna be honest.
So he's only beaten the one guy. No, but he beat him twice. But
he beat one guy with 3 belts. I mean, it's a great little hat trick, but it's a hat trick in one shot, really. You know what I mean? It's not like he went out and beat 3 different heavyweight champions. You know, which is what Joshua did, and then lost, and then, etc. So it's just, I think it's one of those things where Usyk can only cement pound for pound number one status by beating Tyson Fury. Because even if it beats Deontay Wilder, it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Beats Joshua again, it's not enough. If it beats Joe Joyce or Daniel Dubois, it's not enough. He has to beat Tyson Fury to be pound for pound number one. Inoue could have an argument to be pound for pound number one. So can Canelo. So can Jamal Charlo, in my opinion. Because I think Jamal Charlo has faced a much tougher division than Usyk did at cruiserweight. But again, there's that
good case. But does anyone really think Jamal Charlo is the best fighter in the world? He's on the wall. I'm not disrespecting him. But does anyone really think Jamal Charlo is the best fighter in the world?
No, he was a lovely spectacle, though.
No, but
lovely.
I don't know if I can say that about Usyk either. I mean, he beat a very.
I think he's just biased because he's Ukrainian. I don't think we should listen to what he's saying. I think automatically he's got points against him.
Look, I will root against Fury, and I would root for Usyk in a heartbeat in that matchup. I want this to be clear to everyone listening right now.
Anybody that fights against Fury.
I would put my anti-Ukrainian bias aside to root for Usyk against Tyson Fury. We'll make that perfectly clear. So it's not bias against Usyk for being Ukrainian. Mm-hmm. It's just bias.
I mean, you said for that fight you'd put it aside.
Yes.
As a whole, Usyk.
No, I have a bias against
Usyk.
Yeah,
you see?
Yeah.
Exactly. Mental. That's what I mean. Yeah, for the fight, maybe you're giving him a pass. But on a whole, you don't like
if it's Deontay Wilder versus Usyk, I'm fucking waving the American flag.
Bomb
like
squad,
no other,
baby.
Man. You have no idea.
I mean, it'd be fun. I mean, I don't know if I like Bomb Squad. Damn it.
See, I would pick Wilder to beat him.
I said if there's anyone in the heavyweight division that can beat him, it's Wilder, just because Wilder's got the best one-punch power, right? Because if he loses, it's going to be because he wants, he has to finish people, right? If he doesn't knock people out, eventually he's going to get knocked out himself. That's how it works in the heavyweight division. Who would have the best chance of doing that? Wilder. Because Wilder literally takes one shot. I would pick Usyk, but yeah, I would give Wilder the best chance to beat him of anyone in the heavyweight division.
I just want to make it clear right now because I feel like this is now scientific proof that I'm correct.
Right.
BoxRec on their pound for pound has Canelo Alvarez as number 1. So.
And Jeff
my problem is that we have Inoue at number 4, so I don't even know if I can.
Yeah, the fact they have Crawford.
Yeah, they have Crawford above Inoue right now, so I can't. I'm not.
They have Golovkin at 5. I don't know how.
Stop. Well, then what are you looking at? We can't vouch with this. This is bullshit.
The science is now very.
Oh, now you see, he's
now
a middleweight. He went all the way.
The data isn't working in our favor.
Dude, and he is ducking. He's given away 2 belts to have no belts. Why did Golovkin do that? If he's done boxing, just retire. But he's vacated 2 belts now.
Gary
to fight nobody.
He wants payday.
He needs.
He's not getting a fight with Canelo. Okay,
dude, that Canelo fight. I'll put it this way. I don't know what his contract's like, but from what I remember it being talked about was that they gave him equity in the Zone USA, right?
Who?
Triple G when he signed. When he signed the Zone, he got equity. He got stock in the company.
So then he shouldn't.
But hold on, I am assuming that was only.
Wow, he was on
there. If he fought Canelo, so I bet there was a clause in that contract that said if you don't fight him by this date, you will lose your stock ownership in the company. Because you're no longer fulfilling your contract. It's a breach of contract in a sense. Mm-hmm. You're not doing your fiduciary duty as like a stake shareholder of the company. So I can imagine where they kind of forced Triple G to take that fight. And plus, if you're Triple G, it's the biggest payday you're going to have, and it might solidify continued ownership, so to speak, or minor ownership in the Zone. Triple G had to do that. He was balding, Gary. Okay? He had no hair on his head anymore. Okay? He had to take that fight and retire. It's the only thing that made sense.
Dude, then he's done. But then retire then. Then be done. Like, don't just sit here and vacate belts, right? Like, because he was ordered to fight Laura, and because Laura has the regular belt, right? And they're consolidating, and he was ordered to fight Laura, and they vacated that belt. Like, I've always, since he was at 160 and Laura was at 154, I wanted Laura to beat Triple G. I've always wanted that to happen because I've never liked Triple G, and I love Laura. And it's like, oh, we're finally going to get this when they're both 40 years old, and Laura's still going to beat him. And then he vacates his belt to not fight Laura. Like, but he's not fighting anyone. Like, it's not like he got the Canelo fight or he got a Charlo fight or some bigger fight. He's not fighting anyone. And where is Jamal Charlo?
Missing in action, dude. Where is he?
He's had like legal issue, hasn't he?
He's on your wall. That's where he is, stuck on the wall.
Okay. So do you know what happened there? His credit card got declined, right? And he's like, come on, I'm a millionaire. Just go put the credit card through, right? And then, whatever. They gave him another credit card. He got embarrassed or whatever that his credit card got declined. So they had like a ball, like of tips at the restaurant. He stuck his hand in the bowl and took a bunch of money.
Jesus Christ.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny, but he was embarrassed that his credit card got declined when he's throwing this big party, and then he had I call the credit card company or something. So he got pissed off about it. And, on his way out,
guys so down bad. Guys down bad.
Look, Jamal, please get off whatever you're on to make you be so aggro. If it's just that you need to see a therapist, dude.
Yeah.
Go get therapy, man. Mental health is important.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird how Jamal is never having these moments, or not never, not as much having these moments. And Jamal is always, I think, in some sort of drama.
Maybe yin yang, you know.
You know, I just think that he see a therapist, Jamal, please.
You have all the anger and aggression.
Please, dude. It's concerning. It's worrying about. Come on, Jamal. Gary. Any other thoughts before we head out here?
We did.
We'll come back. We'll come back this week, Gary, and we can talk about all the stuff we've missed, like Brian Garcia and Gervonta Davis and everything.
Yeah, we got fights. This is March Madness going into April Fool's.
We got Texas Longhorns play tomorrow.
Gary, you know that we don't watch basketball.
I don't watch much college basketball either, but I got my Longhorns one game away from the Final Four.
I didn't even know it's
the Longhorns
basketball season. What is it?
March Madness is college basketball.
Oh,
that's where everyone gets the term from.
March Madness.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was because of leprechauns.
No, that's St. Patrick's
It's in March. March Madness.
There's no correlation.
Leprechauns make you go crazy.
Matt, do you have a Fire Stick which you jailbreak to watch the fights, or how do you do that? Because I know that I'm very late to this party. How does that work?
I will say this: I don't know how to jailbreak a Roku stick or a Fire Stick. I know that
just find someone to unlock it, basically, or jailbreak it.
Look, Gary, you're in boxing gyms. Just ask around. I guarantee there's somebody in there that does it, or somebody in there's cousin does it.
I bet you could find a YouTube about it.
Okay, and honestly, it's very simple once you do it. I had a buddy that had one. It was really easy. Dog's scratching on the door. It's simple. You will love it once you do it. Just ask somebody at the gym. I'm telling you. Start asking around.
I feel my age now. Like I turned 40 this year. I feel like, get off my lawn. I'm the old man now. Right? Like, how do you jailbreak a Fire Stick?
It's like unlocking an iPhone.
Gary,
you know how you unlock an iPhone back in the day so that you can like use it on any network? It's kind of like that, but it's not. I know, but it just we're old people speaking. Jesus Christ. Let it.
Like I didn't find out who Andrew Tate was till like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I know I'm very late to this party. Who is? I still don't know who he is. Like, who is he? Like,
he's a sex trafficker.
And they say, okay, he's a kickboxer. Okay, name some other kickboxers. Right? And they say, well, he's very wealthy. Well, very wealthy from what? I don't know who he is. Right? I legitimately don't know who he is. I know he got arrested in Romania, and I know that he was on Tucker Carlson. That's all I know about him.
The influencer.
He thinks women are property.
How did he make? So they said here. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I don't know the guy. They say he's worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, but no one knows what he does. This is like an Epstein thing. What?
He had sex cams. That's what he did.
No, he was like, what he did is like he coerced women into like being cam models.
Cam models.
And he got in trouble for that, and then fled to Romania.
And then did it again there.
And then did it again there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But is that okay? Is that who he is?
And then after he made millions, he was.
No, so the reason why he's become like internet famous is because he's turned himself into like a self-help like men's rights
right wing
like one of those like right wing like self-help guru types. Yeah. So he'll come on and do these videos like you have to be masculine, you have to be an alpha male. You have to shoot guns and drink whiskey and smoke cigars.
Yeah, and he's always smoking cigars, like wearing the tightest fucking shorts. I don't know why. Like, he wants to make sure he has fucking balls in there. Like, bros, we're lit. Guys lit. And he's just influencing a bunch of younger little weirdos.
19 to 25 kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of incels.
Yeah, it's a real bad crowd.
So, is it like Kevin Samuels on steroids? Is that kind of what it is? Like,
yes.
And I would say more predominantly for white men. Kevin Samuels was not just for white people.
Okay.
He was towards black masculinity as well.
I just want everybody to know he died alone, like single, and not in a relationship. Make that be noted.
Andrew Tate is more predominantly for like the white MAGA crowd.
Yeah.
And
like
his dad is Emery Tate, the chess player. That's his dad.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, that was way before. His dad was like a master chess player. And like
they're rich. They're rich.
Yeah,
him and his brother, because his brother is like a little kickboxer too.
Well, his dad was a spy, like a spy in the military, who was like this master chess player, like who would like just like beat everyone in chess, like beat all like the geniuses in chess. You've never. It's before you. It's like this is like 1985. Like, it's way before your time. But yeah.
Not mine, but I mean, whoa, okay.
I still don't know. Okay, now I guess I kind of know. How long has he been famous? Like, how long has he been famous for? A long time?
No, I would say like at most 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, like his rise has been over the past 5 years.
So
but the last 2 or 3, he's been, real
last 2.5 years
involved
since
because
COVID.
of his connection to like other mega stars and
he got in with like the Twitch crowd.
The Twitch people. Like when that Twitch and Discord thing came popular, he went over there and kind of made a big splash there, which I still.
So he made like webcam videos of girls, and that's how he made millions.
That's how he originally got in trouble. Was doing that because he was coercing women to do it, allegedly or whatever,
and then not paying taxes.
For it too.
Yeah,
that'll always get you. Yeah,
that will
always bite you in the ass.
And I would say what he has said has made him the most money is he has like this like online like school where it's teaching you how to be an alpha male, and it's like these 12 courses you have to take.
You pay $19.99 a month, and then it's a reoccurring thing. And
and he gives like,
but I think it's expensive. I want to say it was like $150 a month or something like that. Like it was a lot of money.
Wow. If you can get like if you can get $20 out of people, that can really start to bankroll, right? Like you just put an auto pay, people forget they have it. But if you get $150 a month.
And he went viral. I mean, he just became viral.
Well, he would say a bunch of awful
not viral
shit,
enough. I never heard him until like 2 weeks ago.
No, he's terrible.
If you want some videos, I'll send you some videos.
Good stuff.
You sent me the one. Like I get it. Like I get his stick. Like I don't like why is he like I don't understand. Like
I don't get why
I don't get it either. I still don't understand either. I kept asking. I don't what the fuck.
I don't get why young men
are
get into that
what's
shit.
the pool?
It doesn't make sense to me.
What are the girls going gaga for?
I don't get why like young men like become like fucking Nazis too. Like, why? How do you get like skinheads? Like, it's just shit happens. How do you get a guy like Nick Fuentes out there who's like,
oh, you have a high pitched voice, you look like that,
who's chumming up with Kanye West? I mean, how do these things happen?
Dude, I heard an interview with Nick Fuentes. I've never heard of him until a couple weeks ago either.
Rough.
Obviously, he's out of his mind, but he comes off like he comes off as if he's really informed and knows what he's talking about.
It's the Ben Shapiro on steroids.
Yeah, he tries to act so professional. Huh?
It's the Ben Shapiro on steroids. Like Ben Shapiro doesn't outright say he's a Nazi because he's Jewish. He can't.
I used to think that Ben Shapiro was controlled like opposition. Like if you had to make like a stereotypical conservative, like it would just be him, right? Like if you wanted to like
the voice, just all. I mean, the voice, the body, the whole.
I thought he was controlled opposition because he was famous since he was like 19 years old. Like he was like.
He looks 19.
He wanted to be a Hollywood screenwriter, and he didn't make it.
He didn't make it. Of course, he was rejected. It hurt.
It's good times. Good times. Hey, dog. Okay.
He's ready to go, bro.
My dog's telling me it's ready to go. Gary, we'll be back on later this week. It's been great, man. I missed you.
It's been good. It's been good.
And I mean, as a new addition, it's great. I know. Thanks, guys.
It is always wonderful.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it.
For those watching, this video will be posted not only on Mixed Comment Radio on YouTube as well, but also on the Beauty of Boxing on YouTube and thebeautyofboxing.com. I'm going to be posting regular articles there as well. Gary, the invitation. If you want to write articles, you have a website now if you want to write anything. Or if you want anything posted on a website, we can do that as well. So check out, obviously, Melody's content. It's lovely. And what else, Melody? Any final thoughts? I mean, we had some good fights this week.
It was good stuff. It was a good little pay-per-view.
That Noma's paid for. Allegedly.
Matt, why do you have to say
allegedly?
Like that? Like
everyone watched the fight.
I can't go and say after this, like I support boxing, and then you're like, we didn't pay for it. Like
I said allegedly.
Okay, well you speak for yourself, sir. Anyways, good times. It was good. It was good stuff. I mean, we had good fights. And I think over the next couple of weeks we have more. So we on the local level, I think we have a couple of cards over here, and I'm sure Texas has some stuff, Gary, that you could bring and talk to us about.
Yeah, we got Bam Rodriguez coming up. We got Virgil Ortiz coming up. We got big things going on.
Bambity bam bam.
Bam looked like shit.
And we got some of the Garcia guys over here on a Pomona card. soon with Marv Nation. They put a poster out. It's I think it's at the end, either the end of either May. I think it is May. But some of the Garcia boys, 2 of their fighters or 3 of their fighters are going to be on a card with Marv Nation in Pomona, California. So they're doing stuff, I'm sure. Matthew, what are you doing to the dog? Leave the dog alone.
I'm trying to get the dog on my lap. It's like whining at me and just staring at me.
It's telling you to go.
Anyways, Gary, final thoughts.
It was an excellent performance from Benavidez. Exactly what he had to do to win. Chris Colbert. Sorry about that. If y'all listen to me about Jesus Ramos, I was right. Hit that on the head. If you listen to me about Chris Colbert, my bad. Find me all forms of social media, 3D Boxing, 3D Boxing Blog. And please remember to subscribe to my channel, Texas Boxing Scene on YouTube, Texas Boxing Scene on YouTube. And you can check out that interview with Aaron Navarro where he says that Regis Prograis was ducked by Ramirez.
Oh, yeah, me too. I got on my channel, too. I have, of course, with Jesus Ramos and Abel Ramos, his uncle. I interviewed both of them, too. And I told both of them that I was going to catch up with them next week, but I might have to give Abel a little bit more time to get.
They're good people, right? The Ramos.
Oh, they're so people. Wonderful. Yes, they're so sweet. So I'm sure Jesus will be excited because of his win. So we can get him back on and do a little interview, of course.
Yeah,
that'll be nice. Cool.
Everyone, of course, the like button, share the show, all that fun stuff. Please support BeABoxing.com and Texas Boxing Scene. And we'll be back, of course, later this week. You can find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, on all social media platforms. My other channel, Trending Now Network, for any sort of political or news content. And we'll be back, like I said, later this week. Peace.